Well, hello. Fancy seeing you here. You are on the lifeboat with Captain Calhoun. Happy Monday Eve to everyone out there. How are y'all? I was getting a little tired, but don't be alarmed. I have had a far less amount of caffeine today than I normally do. Even if I finish this cup, which I may not finish this cup. Um, but yeah, made lots of changes today. It's been a big day. I'm stoked to talk about it. I have this new chapeau, courtesy of Robin. Shout out to Robin. Robin Miner, I believe. No plants yet. I don't know if Brazy Girl is here yet. I'm super excited to go plant shopping, though. I feel like I can picture like a nice mid-sized shrub right here. A nice shrubbery. I know you can't see it yet, but we can imagine. Let's do a little roll call. Jason P, Sweet Liberty, Valerie, Miss Sunrise Dawn, Blessed to Crochet, Layla Bradley, good to see you guys. Reggae Bubbles, Kristen Melinda, hope your ants go away. Jason P, though, the newest nut, Awakened by the Looking Glass, Dastardly, Saboteur, Peggy Dooley, good to see you guys. Tara Smiling, always a pleasure. Sweet tea, sweet tea. I saw Lisa from Jersey, I feel like yesterday. Ben Bacon Bits, good to see ya. My nose is playing tricks on me. Maybe that's the coffee I smell. My nose tends to do that if you haven't picked that up yet. Sweet Liberty, good to see you. Rocket Queen. Conversations with Christy. Heck yeah, guys. Well, I'm going to draw out my intro just a little bit before we get to the meat and potatoes because I feel like there's more people coming. But yeah, we're going to talk about boundaries today. I think they're really important because they are. Cats, Bats, and Flowers, SB. Good to see you guys. Glad you made it. Hope everyone's Monday was tolerable. Mine was pretty excellent, I have to say. Me and my dad went shopping and got a bunch of stuff done. Got a bunch of the house clean. Obviously not finished yet, but um, Uncle Johnny also brought over this cool little amplifier that has every distortion, whatever, every pedal known to man on like downloaded onto it, like on like app style. So I had to fart around with that a little bit. That was fun. Had to spend some time farting around with the new toy. But yeah, I'm excited to go shopping some more. Get some greenery in here. I got thumbtacks, so you can't really see that I've done anything, can you? It, there's a poster. There's a flag over there on the wall on the brick, but it kind of blends in. And I have one right here behind. It really brings the room together. You know, you guys just can't see it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do something over here. I think we'll get something over there for you guys for the boat. I did not see your news. Share it with us, Miss Sunrise Dawn, before we get into it. Let's tell me, inform me. My tea was medium, says Valerie. That's better than bad. I always say not bad's better than bad. Good's better than not good. Medium's pretty decent. That's like mad decent. I'll take medium any day. I'm very swingy though. I have like high highs and low lows, so maybe a little medium is appealing to me for that reason. Yeah, if I could just chill at a nice medium, I'd like that. Oh my gosh, I saw someone say, "Do you know if it's a boy or a girl yet?" Going to be a grandma. All right. Heck yeah! Congratulations for the grandkid. Pull out a Molesky for the grandkid. Heck yeah! Always love to see a new life, a new flame being lit. JBZ, good to see ya. Congratulations, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Is that your first grandkid? My tortie weighs 18 pounds, says Miss Dragon. It's a baby-sized cat, basically is what we're talking about here. Monica says she went on a family walk with her husband and 2 younger boys this evening. It was very nice. The weather was great in Mississippi, and that does sound nice. First one. Well, you are now an honorary grandma. How does it feel? It's like like the wisdom kicking in. All right, yeah, let's talk about some boundaries. I've waited far long enough. So I'm talking about personal boundaries, not not like fence lines, not territory boundaries. Talking about personal boundaries, your physical, emotional, and mental limits that we establish to protect ourselves from being manipulated, used, violated, or even just protect ourselves from simply giving too much time or energy to something or someone, situation, whatever, what have you. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications, please. So yeah, boundaries. Without these, we can get walked on, be kind of similar to a doormat, right? Just allow people to have their way with us. Or on the other end of the spectrum, if our boundaries are a little out of whack, we can shut ourselves off unnecessarily from connection. So I think it's a far more difficult to have too many boundaries than it is to not have enough. I guess I don't think I would worry about having too many boundaries, because if you're thinking like, hey, maybe I should set this boundary, you probably should. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really a tricky thing to decide whether or not I need a boundary. For example, if I need to cut a show early because I'm tired and I know I'm going to need the sleep to be effective and happy and well tomorrow, then I do so. That's akin to setting a boundary. Like, hey, I'm going to need to get out of here a little early, or I guess let's do it like this. Boundaries define what is acceptable and unacceptable and how others behave towards us. So, like a physical boundary would be something like maybe I'm not a hugging person. Don't hug me. I don't. That's not the truth. I'm totally cool. I love hugs. Hugs are great. Let's embrace. But my point is, a physical boundary may be that you're not a very touchy kind of person. So um, people that come up and just immediately hug you make you very uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And those people should probably be respecting your boundaries and not just come up and squeeze a human. You know what I mean? So um, I guess that brings me to respecting others' boundaries is equally as important. But setting that boundary, letting someone know, like, hey, it's all right. We're not gonna hug. Or, if it's all right. That's probably the most difficult part here is setting the boundaries can be difficult or tricky. And sometimes um, assertively enforcing your boundaries can be uncomfortable, but also super necessary, right? It gets easier every time you do it. But if you feel like your boundaries are being stepped on, it's important to assert your boundaries. Otherwise, people may not know that they're stepping on your boundaries. And if you're asserting a boundary, this just popped into my head, might as well say it, and someone like laughs it off or doesn't take it serious, maybe that person doesn't deserve to be in your space at all. Maybe that person doesn't deserve to be your friend. You know what I mean? Because it's a pretty big deal. It can be about menial things, but the point of boundaries is to protect things that are not menial, aka your heart. You know what I mean? Your soul, your insides. Often, if I need to set a boundary, it might not be due to anything other than trauma that I have in the past, right? So boundaries are definitely something that I'm looking for when I meet new people. You know what I mean? Like I'm treading lightly. I don't want to step on someone's boundaries. I don't assume everyone has trauma, but most people have trauma. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, boundaries equals respect, says Peggy Dooley. Basically, exactly that. I could not have said it better. Unfortunately, I think in today's world, we do need to break it down much further because it does seem to be something that a lot of people are not very good at, which is fine. We all start somewhere. I definitely had to learn how to do this. This was not something I was born knowing how to do. Hey, Brazy, been waiting for you to show up so I can tell you about plants. Looking sharp in the hat. Good evening. Good evening. Can I please come over to declutter? I have organization OCD. Honestly, I mean, that would be pretty neat. I'd be okay with that. I will say that the last girl that cleaned my house, I ended up being super rude to. Not that I would be rude to you. I regret this. I've apologized and attempted to make amends with this lady. So I don't think she took me very serious, but I did my best. But yeah, if you want to come declutter my house, I promise I won't. I will not be rude to you. But I went shopping today and I got a lot of things. I did not go to a nursery and get plants, and it did occur to me that I should probably do some research. But I don't know if you can see. Maybe I'll just do a little manipulation of the camera. But right here, where that little plush is on the ground, across from it is right next to my desk. I'm seeing like a mid-sized shrubbery right here, you know? And I'm not very educated on plant names and sizes and foliages and stuff. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research, or maybe I'll just go down to the local nursery and pick one that looks good and fits right there and like calls to me. I don't know, but that's gonna happen. And then we'll probably get something a little smaller, get some more green in here because we do need some circulation, maybe some hanging plants. I don't know. But the mid-sized shrubbery, we're gonna name him. It's gonna be great. You guys are gonna love it. He's gonna be an honorary member of the boat. And I just had to share that. I was waiting for Brazy Girl to get here. My plant inspiration. Rose K says, my boundaries started by recognizing what's my responsibility and what's someone else's responsibility. I think that's very important. For me, part of that was recognizing what I actually have control over. And that was a hard lesson. Especially like, I don't know, I like to be in control, right? But you know, the amount of things I actually have control over is very, very little limited. And basically that list is me. And that's the end of the list. I have control over me, right? Recognizing that enabled me to start setting boundaries, I believe. Yeah, technology has definitely changed how we interact, and has changed the everything about boundaries, I think. Okay, that's a little better. It was like right in my face. Right in my face. Layla Bradley says, struggled to set boundaries with family due to long-standing negative ways of communicating. You try to make changes, but they don't. And you know, that's something. It's hard with family. Um, Kind of like how it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks kind of thing. Like we have this family dynamic that we've probably had it the whole time we've been a family, which is my whole life kind of thing, right? So it's really hard to change those things. And you like in order to this is a two-way street. You know what I mean? It's not enough to set the boundaries, but the boundaries have to also be respected. There has to be a reciprocation with this interaction, with this transaction, if you will, right? I don't like to live life transactionally. And by that, I mean, I don't like to view my interactions as transactions. Like I gain something, you gain something. I don't like to view things like that. I think it makes for, it's hard to live heart forward that way, I think, among other reasons. But what was I saying that for? What was the point of that? Family. So it's a two-way street. If your family's not respecting your boundaries or not reciprocating, like in I don't know, yeah, if they're not respecting your boundaries, you know, maybe they need to spend some time away from you, you know, and that's a hard thing. But there's no really other solution. You can't make them. I shouldn't say there's no other solution. You can't make them respect your boundaries, right? You can only set your boundary firmly, and maybe you need to remove yourself from a situation, but um, that is a very important note. Thank you for sharing that, Layla Bradley. I'm sorry that you're going through that. That's some tough stuff. often you can't win in a situation like that, right? You're either not being close to someone you love because they're your family, right? Or they respect your boundaries. You know what I mean? We can communicate or we can, or we don't. And you often, if we're not communicating, it's because one of us is choosing not to. You know, one of us is not willing, which is unfortunate. I'm sorry about that, Layla. Could not have said it better myself, Brazy. Brazy says boundaries protect self-preservation, setting a limit to self-health and mental well-being. We were about to talk about that. It's funny you mentioned that. Greg A. Bubble says, "Does anybody have family that hates on other family members and ruins the family because of it?" I yes do. I actually absolutely do, and I feel like this is not as uncommon as you would want it to be. You know what I mean? As far as phenomenon go, I think this one could be a little scarcer. Um, Definitely have heard this before. I'm sorry that you've got that dynamic as well, Greg A. I could get lost in reading your comments forever, which is not a bad thing, but I'm gonna chug along a little bit. We'll come back. We'll come back to it. Yeah, define what is acceptable. Physical space, yeah. So setting boundaries could involve setting boundaries for your physical space, aka the hugging, right? That's a good example. Emotional space. If you're in a relationship or you're exploring a new relationship or you've been married for years, you invest emotional time. You know what I mean? You invest emotional energy, for lack of a better word, emotional space with this person. Maybe I've had a really hard day at work and I'm taxed, I'm all the way spent. I don't have that energy and emotional space to give right now. Hopefully your partner understands and respects that. If they don't, it's probably a pretty good sign, pretty red colored flag. Oh, and shout out to Seventh Son with the glasses pack. What do you guys think? I grabbed I don't know what this pattern is called, but I've always thought of it as the grandma pattern, and boy, do I like it on my face. I have to say, time and privacy were the last two things I had on my list for examples of what boundaries could entail. Right, boundaries for my time. My dad has me doing a lot of stuff for him in the background. I was doing a whole lot more than I am now. Right now, I'm doing the boat, so a lot of those things aren't being done anymore. But a good example would be like, time. Um, like yesterday, I was supposed to do a call-in show for them, but I was really struggling. I wasn't feeling very good, and I didn't have the time to effectively do that and do what I needed to do to like be okay, right? For lack of better explanation. So I set that boundary. I was like, hey, can we reschedule this? And he had actually offered that out already, so it was kind of like me just taking that out. So that's cool. He made it easy for me to set that boundary. There was no difficulty there, right? And then privacy. I personally like to spend a lot of time alone. I need time alone, um, and I definitely indulge far more than I need. But yeah, everyone's entitled to a little private time, and if you're not able to get that, you should be able to set a boundary and grab that for yourself. Um, it's not to be understated how important having time alone is, regardless of what you're doing with that time. Even if you're just sitting down staring at the wall, even if you're spending a couple extra minutes in bed in the morning, even if like between activities, after work, before starting dinner or before whatever, right? Sitting down and just taking a load off for 10, 15 minutes. You know what I mean? That is a game changer for me. It not only gives my brain a chance to reset, but um, just gives my brain a chance to process and my body a chance to like take its own deep breaths. So yeah, boundaries are essential for self-care and for healthy relationships. I intend to do a show on self-care. We've already kind of talked about a lot of self-care type things in our other shows in talking about other stuff, but it's worth its own show. That's something else that I don't think my dad spent a whole lot of time talking about, but um, sleep and nutrition, dude, are king. Sleep and nutrition are king, and boundaries are too. If you have the proper sleep and the proper nutrition, but you're allowing your time to be chopped up in ways that are not working for you, your boundaries aren't being effective, right? So you're there with the energy and restful, wakeful mind, alertness to handle situations, but you're not handling them properly anyways. So yeah, it's just an essential piece of the puzzle. And recognizing when boundaries are crossed is the next part I want to talk about. So setting boundaries is important, but you might have boundaries, or yeah, I guess that's the right way to say that. You may have boundaries that you aren't even realizing you're letting get crossed. You know what I mean? You might not realize that you need boundaries for something, and you might be in a situation where, gosh, it's hard to give examples. I should start writing examples down. Note to self. Um, yeah, like maybe I don't tell my dad like, hey, I don't want to do the call in today. I have a lot going on, and on top of that, I'm pretty sure I'm in stages of relapse, and I'm trying to fix that. You know, um, maybe in my mind, I feel like I really need to do this for my dad. He's done so much for me lately. He's sticking his neck out. He's my dad. He's like I got to give back. Whatever I'm telling myself is the reason that I need to, right? But I feel like I really need to have his back in this moment, even though it's going to put my ass out there on the line. And I know it's not gonna be good for me, right? Um, I need to recognize in that moment, like, hey, this is probably the hardest part about this is finding, like, being able to recognize that I actually do need this, and then finding a way to express that in whatever situation or to whatever person that I need to. Like, hey, and often I'll set boundaries and they aren't accepted well. They might be respected, but the person might not be happy about it. But at the end of the day, I have to set the boundary and I have to enforce it. Otherwise, I'm not going to I can't be the best me. I can't suit up and show up for life the way that I want to. And we can't always be perfect. I can't always shoot up and show up the way that I want to, and that's okay too. But in recognizing when my boundaries are being crossed and setting effective boundaries, I am doing everything I can to do my best. Also, sometimes you're going to need to assertively enforce your boundaries. This might be in like an interpersonal relationship kind of sense. This could be like with your peers. This could be with your homies, your homegirls, whatever. But you might need to be like, hey, step back. You're in my space. I don't like that. You might need to. It might be an uncomfortable kind of situation, enforcing your boundaries, and you're gonna have to find a way to navigate that. I can't really tell you how to. Everyone's different. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, right? So I would just counsel to find the best way possible to enforce your boundaries, especially in situations that are a little uncomfortable or difficult, right? I would never put yourself in harm's way, but often these boundaries are going to protect you. Hey, Fancy Nancy, good to see you. Riley's human. Janet G. Yeah, totally. Riley's human. That was just an example. I was having a really hard time coming up with an example of recognizing when your boundaries are being crossed versus not. And I had just given an example of setting great boundaries and telling my dad, like, hey, I can't do this for you. And him being like, sweet, dude, that's great. That's fine. But then on the other hand, right, if I hadn't recognized that I needed that time and I hadn't felt like I could say that to him or something like that, then I'm not setting boundaries. I'm letting my boundaries get stepped on or whatever, right? And then I'm letting myself be put out. So that was what that's about. Yeah, my dad's great. In fact, I think he could probably set a little bit better boundaries, but he's getting good at it. I think me being around is just good in general for him. He's absorbing some of the power of the Calhoun. Bless to crochet. Example, I had a family situation. Somebody called me dear. I said very early on in our relationship with my husband that wasn't an endearing that he could use. I'm glad I told him just accept it. Well, I'm glad he accepted it. Sounds like a keeper. After 20 years of gray rocking, Cats, Bats, and Flowers says she after 20 years of gray rocking my mother-in-law, she finally lost it. Said I can't stand her anymore. Told my husband to choose one or the other, and the last 10 years have been peaceful. Heck yeah. I'm amazed you put up with it for that long. It's amazing what we'll do for love or for our loved ones. You know what I mean? Um, and I'm not saying that it's bad that you spent that much time putting up with it, but there is a balance, right? It's kind of a gray area. We want to do the most we can for the ones we love, right? But at the same time, if it's taking away from me, if it's taking off of my plate, my metaphorical plate, so to speak, of mental ability or emotional capacity or whatever you want to call it, at some point we have to draw the line, the boundary. Otherwise, it can drive us nuts. I watched this happen with my grandma and her mom, actually. Um, and they eventually had to take her to a home that was right down the street. Literally, I walked over there and hung out with great grandma all the time. We would listen to records, and she would be watching her or listening to her church radio and or whatever she was doing. It was it was kind of neat. But anyways, I digress. Um, Grandma had to draw that boundary with her mother because they were driving each other nuts, nuts. And I tell you what, as soon as the move happened in that situation, everybody felt so much better. Like you could feel the pressure difference in the house. Yeah, what is gray rocking? I was wondering that too. I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about our songs of the day. I'm going to go with two again. I feel like when I pick when one of my songs of the day is like too, I don't know what the word is, too rappy or too metally, I have to like pick just a good wholesome song as well to like balance it out because not everybody likes crappy music like I do. So our wholesome song is going to be "Don't Touch Me" by Jeannie Seeley. Absolute classic. Don't touch me. It's good. It's great. You're gonna love it. Tear Drinker by Mastodon is my other one, and I would recommend the acoustic version because that's what I was listening to today. Diss to your kids. Get rid of him. My ex put his ignorant, conditional parents on a pedestal. Dissed my kids. Didn't go well. Hence my ex. Later he said 8 was right. Too late. Interesting. Interesting. You know, I don't think that this is a strength that I have. It might be a flaw or a weakness, but I am very quick to just let people go. Let people, places, and things just go. I used to have a really, really hard time. Mr. McCurbastic, that's one of my favorite bands of all time. All time. I was warming up 30 seconds before I hit live to that song. Back to Brazy Girl. I just have no problem just cutting people off. Just you're out of here. And it used to be a really, really hard thing for me to do. But and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or not. I think I probably need to make like informed decisions when I do stuff like that. But dissing the kids, you know what I mean? Come on, like what is that? Who are you? If you don't like my kids, you can get out. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of attached to them. I don't know if you noticed. These are my kids, you know? And second chances are important, Crazy Girl. I'm glad that you said that. And that's brings me full circle back to I don't know if that's a strength or a weakness, my ability to just cut people off. I tend to think it's a weakness, right? If I employ it intelligently, maybe it's a strength, but it's very important to give second chances because I wouldn't be here without them. You know what I mean? I don't think any of us would be here without a little second chance, you know? So, um, yeah. And that's living heart forward. That's leading with love right there is what that is, Gracie Girl. So I might pull the Molesky out for you too. Let's just that's setting a good example right there. Guilty as a Saint by Chuck Prophet. Makeout room. Sounds like a uncomfortable room. Mo love, my lord. Oh, you're talking about Kiss Freak, Lord Kiss Freak? My lord. Feel like I had something to say to Lord Kiss Freak. Oh, the other day, and then I got like just lost in the stream. But the other day, I was listening to Kiss, actually, Lord Kiss Freak, and what song was it? I was made for loving you. It's got to be my favorite Kiss song of all time, and it made me think of you, Lord Kiss Freak. Just such a great song. Hey, dear, good to see you. Good to see you. I'm glad you made it. I love seeing your name surrounded by stars when it pops up. It's always makes me happy. No lips were locked. I like how you said that. Well, I do like live music. Got to be one of my favorite things ever. Live music. And I'm a big fan of kissing. Just the makeout room didn't sound like a room that would be fun to be in. Just you walk in, everybody's locked lip. I don't know. Hey, Mara, I'm glad you made it. A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Is that Gene's most hated song? Because I love that song. Someone brought up Thundercat the other day. I'm listening to that right now as well. Gray rocking gives no opportunity for them to start crap. Interesting. Kind of like stonewalling. Shout out to General Stonewall Jackson. Seeing lots of love in here. Let's go. Makes me happy. No, no, Mo Love. That's basically what I said when I heard the makeout room, but it's a venue. There were no lips locked, allegedly. It's a music venue, I guess, in San Francisco, which explains everything, right? I'm just kidding. Tara Smiling says, gray rocking is when you don't provide a response or any type of feedback to a person. This works well on a person with narcissistic tendencies. So is this another word for the cold shoulder? Because I have to say, man, the cold shoulder hurts. The cold shoulder really, really like hits me in the pride. It really does. It's like, man, I'm just not even worth a response anymore, huh? But maybe I deserved it in those moments. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've got the cold shoulder. In fact, I don't think I recall the last time I received the cold shoulder. Lol heifer. I would have to say red rocking is probably akin to stoning, yeah. It's more tactical than that, says Info Dump Truck. I don't know why, but I just find that so hilarious. I do enjoy good tact. And sometimes the least obvious tact is the most surprising. You know what I mean? Let's get some ones up for Kevin, Miss Sunrise Dawn's friend. Unable to do surgery today. His kidneys, excuse me, I'm sorry. His kidneys aren't working well and heart meds being given. Good Lord. Let's get some prayers out there. Send some good vibes and some love his way. Some thoughts, some well wishes. Stand your ground. I like that statement. I am just loving all the feedback and everything that I'm reading in the chat is amazing. You guys get it. All these labels on these actions. Who comes up with this? What are we talking about? Oh, cold shoulder, red rocking. Yeah, I I think we're making it up as we go, SG. Yeah, knock on wood. Do I have wood here? No. It's all right. I'm knocking on wood in my heart soul. Part 2. Doctor said when they do perform surgery, moderate chance he won't make it. Oh my lord. Kevin was given the choice and chose to fight and have the surgery. Not sure when yet. Yeah, let's definitely put some ones up for Kevin. He's going to need them. You know, I'm a big fan of rolling the dice, but I really don't like rolling the dice with life. You know what I mean? I guess if that's your best option, I mean, I probably would gamble too. I probably would take the chance and fight instead of surrender. You know, I'm a big fan of surrender, but not like to my enemies. You know what I mean? Not to death. Like surrender like to the whims of the world. Like surrender to like my path and like who I am as who I truly am and what my true purpose is. Like surrender to just like how this is, right? I think that's great, but I don't think I could surrender to death. I would have to meet it and fight it. Thank you for clarifying, info dump truck. Sometimes when we're texting and I'm talking and things can get mixed up. So info dump truck says gray rocking is not for communication. It's for damage control and conflict prevention. Kiss Freak says, Lord Kiss Freak says, update on my friend with the heart issues. She hasn't been feeling much better since they reset her heart. You know, the word reset being in quotes doesn't make me feel like good. You know, it doesn't make me feel great. Some ones for you as well, for your friend. I hate to hear this. I get worried about my heart sometimes. Heart stuff runs in my family, and I swear to you, I have heart pains sometimes. I don't think it's just my chest muscles being sore. I think I should go get it checked out, and I will. I'll keep you guys updated. Oh my lord. Let's keep Mary Jones' aunt in our thoughts and prayers as well, everyone. She's not doing too well with chemo. Peggy Dooley says turning the other cheek. Is that one too? It's funny you say that. That makes me think there's this hey Geoplanet Jane, good to see you. There's this metal band I like, and they're like a Christian metal band. Um, don't ask me how that works. I don't know. But this particular band will like say prayers at their shows, like with the crowd before they go on and stuff. And they have this one particular song, and I don't know if he's like reading a verse or like what the deal is, but the language sounds like biblical. And he says something about turning the other cheek, and the way he does it, it just sounds so awesome and so like just legendary. And then the song comes in and it's like dun, 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 dun. It's just so good. I think turning the other cheek's a decent method for dealing with conflict. Did we get through all my boundary stuff? No, we did not. So your boundaries are going to be flexible, right? They're going to change over time. Your needs are going to change over time, situations, your surroundings, the only constant is change, right? So keep your boundaries flexible, right? Keep on your toes, head on a swivel, right? We're enjoying, we're in the present moment, but we definitely don't want to be stuck in a way that's not serving us, right? Respecting others' boundaries, we kind of touched on that. Very important, equally so. And that's pretty much it for boundaries, guys. Most of you seem like you get it. The name of the band is Sleeping Giant. Epic band. Super duper epic. There are some Christian metal bands out there that I think have like I think they would have a hard time having a conversation with me about religion. But I don't think that about this band. I think Sleeping Giant's legit. I think they're legit as all heck. So I would highly recommend it. If you're into metal, check out Sleeping Giant. Backer girl, glad you made it. Geoplanet Jane says, oh, I thought I clicked on that. What they can do now for hearts and cancer now is amazing. You must get things looked at early. My grandpa, my maternal grandpa, spent a lot of time working for, I forget what company it was, but what the company did was they manufactured heart valves for heart surgery patients, and they would make them out of like pig hearts and sheep hearts and all sorts, and they had like a fully synthetic model. Like they had, it's a pretty big deal like company. And I thought that was so cool that my grandpa worked for a company that manufactured heart valves for heart surgery. I thought that was super duper cool. Yeah, they can like grow. I don't know. I have no idea the process, but what they can do is amazing. John Michael Talbot, who's that? Geoplanet Jane. I guess I could look it up, huh? I have the power at my fingertips. Oh, he's a musician. He looks like a what are they called? Like a holy man. He looks like a trying to think of a better reference than like a pop culture TV show, but I feel like a friar or like a brother or like a scribe. Forget like a guy that lives at a monastery. He looks like one of them. Brazy girl, you are so kind. You're too good to me. Captain Calhoun rocking the chair. Thank you for the lifeboat. NQ. Hugs. Love to everyone. Dude, love right back to you. I appreciate you immensely. I don't have words. I don't know what to say anymore. You're just so good to me. And I'm just going to say thank you. You're awesome. Let me know if I can do anything for you, Brazy. Other than get that plant, it's at the top of my list, and I may be more excited about it than you are now, which is saying something because I couldn't care less when you brought it up, but I feel like I have built it up, and now I can literally picture it right here. I'm so excited. Um, I'm going to get to the nursery and there's going to be a plant that calls to me, and we're going to name him. We can name him together, guys. This song is louder than the other ones for sure. Wait for you forever. Retail therapy. It's funny you say that. I definitely find spending money therapeutic until I'm out of money, and then I'm like, wait a second, that's not how this is supposed to work. So definitely try to keep that to a minimum. But like a medium sized fern right here, that's money well spent. I'm gonna get all the clean oxygen. I just have to waft it, just a little wafter. I'm glad I make you smile, Brazzy. I'm trying. I'm definitely trying. Yeah, one of my most ancient practices since as long as I can remember, trying to make people laugh or make people smile has always been something that I've been drawn to. Wow, I can feel my throat now. for sure. I don't know if we can name it Trash Panda because I have a friend that we call Trash Panda, so it might get confusing. We'll have to. Yeah, Ashley might get mad because she's quite fond of Trash Panda. Sir Seedling of the House of Root. That is epic. We can definitely consider naming him that. I feel like we need to meet him before we name him. You know what I mean? Because maybe he's got like another name that's just he's screaming out loud. You know, you never know. I was thinking about this Brazy girl. She says, please inform yourself on type of plant and its requirements. And part of me was thinking, like, I'm just going to go get one and whatever it needs, I'll learn about it and it'll make me a better man. And, I should probably do it your way and actually inform myself prior to getting a plant because you don't want to get attached to a plant and then it dies. And then you have to do it all over again. It's pretty whack. Yeah, I need to drink more water, Layla. I'm probably going to get out of here in a second, anyways. Sweet Liberty, I got some fantastic chamomile decaf tea. Chamomile. It says honey on the front. I'm gonna put real honey in it though. And I was gonna make it tonight, but I wanted a small amount of caffeine. I've had about half a cup of coffee, and it's plenty of caffeine. I probably could have made a fourth. I could have made this coffee a little differently, I think. Succulents might be too aggressive for. Well, I guess what are they going to spread to in the house, right? For some reason, I'm opposed to succulents. I don't know why that is. I'm going to challenge my own thought on that and figure out why that is. I'll look into it. I will look into some succulents. Definitely going to drink decaf at night, Mara. When I had my first sip of this, it was like 7 p.m. I don't know why I thought it was 5. That's crazy. I'm totally gonna end up switching the evening time back an hour or two. I know that I said I was going to take a while to think about it, and I totally am. But today I was like, man, there's just kept having moments where like it would fix this, it would fix that, it would fix all of these things. So Carol Stewart says it's like having a pet. You have to look after it. I'm totally intending to get a real plant that has real air recycling qualities. That's totally the intent, Carol. And I promise I'm going to do my best. I will not have dead plants. I will have living, happy plants, and we will be breathing the best air. Only the best air in Calhoun's house. A cycad, a geoplanet Jane. All right. All right. I think I'm gonna start doing some shorts and stuff too. I'm told that helps. All kinds of things like the algorithm and the this and the that. Bless Two Crochet is going to be rippling tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. I believe that's 4 p.m. boat time, 4 p.m. Pacific. And also, so glad you bring that up. Still learning how to organize my notes, but this should be in my notes. We have someone else, I believe, tomorrow. And my other's keeper, I believe, is going to do some boat stuff as well. I have not spoken to them yet, but they have reached out to me. I just have not had the time to get back. So if you're out there, shout out to my other's keeper. I am totally going to get back to you here shortly. What am I looking for? Please hold. Yeah, 4 p.m. tomorrow, 11 a.m. on Conversations with Christy. I may be making an appearance. So go make sure at 11 a.m. Let's go check out a conversation with Christy. I believe we're going to be talking about, funny enough, taking on too much. I'm somewhat of an expert on the subject, so um, I told them I would love to stop by, and I'm going to see how I feel. I don't imagine I'm not going to feel good. I imagine I'm going to feel like I did today, but even better. So I just didn't want to commit and then like somehow not be able to follow through because I hate doing that. So I'm going to under promise and over deliver. That's the plan. So yeah, 11 a.m. over there, 4 p.m. on the boat with Blush to Crochet. And it looks like we're going to be doing some Ripple stuff with My Other's Keeper on Thursdays, possibly. Stay tuned. I'm not going to give the time yet. I haven't talked to them, but they seem to plan their own stuff very well, and I like that a lot. I do not, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If y'all got a good schedule going, let's just keep it going. So I think we might be doing some Others Keeper on Thursday, but stay tuned. I feel like there was something on Wednesday that I need to be aware of or thinking of. Maybe that was just for me. Maybe that was just for me. I'll check it out, Lord Kiss Freak. Good looking out. 120 Pacific. All right. All right, Miss Dragon. Do you use StreamYard or Restream? Or is there even another program? What do you use for your streaming purposes, Miss Dragon? I found that they all work a little different, and it matters for integration and stuff. And I'm learning Restream right now, but I'm using StreamYard. Seventh Son says, member for 15 months. Get kitchen herbs as plants, clean air and flavor. Yeah, we'll probably get some basil. I'm drawing a blank on herbs, but I'm a huge herb fan. Maybe some thyme and some oregano, or I'm just forgetting. I'm forgetting the good ones that I like, but that's a great idea. Will do. Will do, Seventh. Jason P, shout out. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Much love. It was super cool meeting Jason at the pepper thing in New Mexico. That was such a cool experience. I do enjoy meeting lifeboaters. There we go. Parsley, cilantro, basil, thyme. That sounds like what I would want. Maybe some chives too. I don't know what I would put mint on. I guess I would put mint in drinks. I'm a huge cilantro fan, Mo. I'm sorry to hear that. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. I was fishing for God knows what. Didn't find it. Lord Kiss Freak, member for 16 months. Feels like it's been more than 16 months, lol. I think it has been, but who's counting? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Who's counting? Mint on lamb. Oh my. I might have to go get some lamb. Yeah, we got lots of OGs in the house. I'm pretty stoked about it. I feel like the love and support, it's very palpable. Yeah, I'm super happy Passover, Aria. Good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. I do not have a cat Fitzgerald family, but thank you for bringing that up. Um, Definitely important. I wonder. I had some. Well, I almost had some kittens about a year and a half ago. About 5 or 6 months before I got sober. Maybe I have pictures of them. I bet you I do. Me and this girl that I'm a huge fan of. I love this girl so much. Love her to death. Um, romance wasn't in the cards for us, but that's okay. But she had some kittens, and I kind of like helped her take care of the kittens, and really played with the idea of keeping the kittens for myself because she needed to get rid of them. That's not what ended up happening, but these kittens were so cute. Please hold. Thank you for waiting. I know it's rude. I'm not making eye contact. I'm just like looking at my feet. What the heck? Right? I promise it's worth it. Probably shouldn't show pictures of my friend. But here's Bubbles. She's the cutest. And this is Parkour. And they're brother and sister. And they are like part lynx or something. They're like a special breed of cat. And they have like their back legs are like rabbit feet. So they're like hopping cats. I wish I had a video of them. I wish my friend's face wasn't in this picture because it's so cute. But I guess that's part of the cuteness. So I just don't want to put her online. This is them cuddling. But I would go over there and parkour. I would walk in the door and he would jump off of whatever in some unknown corner and fly through the air and land on my shoulders and like, just like kind of like hang on. And he was a shoulder cat. And that's why we called him Parkour because he would run and jump and he was crazy. And Bubbles was just so cute. We called her Bubbles, but Bubbles had some incontinence issues, and they were related to like her tailbone and the way that their rabbity legs are, whatever kind of I can't remember the exact breed of the cat, but they were like rabbit cats. They weren't bred with rabbits, but like they were part lynx or something, and they had these big back feet, and they would like kind of like they were so cute to watch, but some deformity with the tailbone that causes them to have these feet also caused Bubbles to have some incontinence issues, and they were so young that we couldn't really investigate or look into fixing it until she got to a certain age. So the cat was just not going to be able to hold her bladder until a certain age. So it just wasn't working for the house setup that um, for what my friend had. And we looked into so many different options, but we ended up finding a home for them on a farm. So they're running around being farm cats now, just like living the best life ever. So I'm glad that we put the extra time and effort and energy into looking into all that because those cats deserved the world. It broke my heart to give them away. I tell you what, I guess remember that tiny little apartment, that tiny studio room I had. I considered bringing those cats to that place, even with the incontinence issues. I was like, whatever, we'll get through it, is what I was thinking because I loved them so much. Minx is the breed. That's right. Cindy G. What would I do without you? God, they were so cute. They were my favorite. So maybe I will get a cat. You know, maybe I will. Don't buy or breed when there are those in need. Yeah, I'll probably go find a pretty litter or like a rescue or like a something like that. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. 11 a.m. tomorrow, conversation with Christy. 4 p.m. lifeboat with Blessed to Crochet. And everyone, we're going to sign off today with get journaling. I would not have progressed to stage 2 of relapse if I had been journaling. I don't think I would have entered stage 1. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it's possible, but get journaling. It's the most important thing we're going to do for our recovery. All right. Much love, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.